Today's Daily Dose of Math shows how to measure the height of a very tall object that's not convenient to directly measure. And the example I'm going to use is this tree. I want to see how tall the tree is, and it's very tall. I don't want to try climbing up there on a ladder, I'll hurt myself. But I can see how long the shadow is of the tree, and I can measure that. So I'm going to be using that. What I'm going to do is I'm using this tape measure to see how long this plank of wood is, and it is 1.6 meters in length. The piece of wood is easier to use as a measuring stick than the tape measure. I'm going to start measuring from the base of the tree's shadow to the end of the tree's shadow. I used the length of the plank of wood 9 times. The wood is 1.6 meters, so the length of the shadow is 9 times 1.6 meters. Now that's very useful, and I'll show how to use it in the calculation, but I also have to have something to compare it to, something that is small and easy to measure and has a small shadow that's easy to measure. And what I'm going to use is this meter stick. I know the meter stick is exactly 1 meter in length. If I put it down so that it's right at the same spot as this ball, and then look at the end of the shadow while holding the meter stick straight, I can see that this second ball is at the very end of the shadow. And now I can measure this. And I get 75 centimeters or 0.75 meters. Now I have all the information I need to do my calculation. Okay, so now we can work with the measurements that we made outdoors. I've drawn the situation here. You can see that the height of the trees are unknown and its shadow length is 9 times 1.6 meters, which is 14.4 meters. The meter stick, of course, is 1 meter in its height, and the length of its shadow is 0.75 meters. To build the proportion in order to find the answer, in order to justify how you got the answer, this is a direct proportion. Direct proportions means any situation where more means more, less means less. So if we realize that the longer the shadow, the taller the object, that's a more means more situation. This is a direct proportion. And there are actually 8 different ways of arranging the values and the unknown x into a proportion that are correct. There are also 8 ways that are incorrect. So all we have to do is respect the more means more concept, that it is direct proportion. I choose to keep the shadows together on the left. So the shadow of the meter stick is 0.75 meters. And the shadow of the tree is 14.4 meters. That means I'm going to put the heights of the real objects on the right. The height of the meter stick is 1 meter, and I have to put it on the top because I chose to put the length of the shadow of the meter stick on the top. So by keeping the right things together, I make sure I build my proportion correctly. The 2 shadows are together, the 2 meter stick measurements are together. It's going to work. X will be the height of the tree, and it goes in the last remaining spot. And now all we have to do is cross multiply. 0.75 times x is equal to 1 times 14.4. Therefore, 0.75x equals 14.4. We have to divide both sides by 0.75. And these cancel, our x is isolated, and once we do this division, we have our answer. 14.4 divided by 0.75 is equal to 19.2. Now, in all cases, the unit of measure was meters. This will be 19.2 meters. I have calculated the height of the tree without taking the risk of falling off of a ladder or falling out of a tree. This is an extremely useful little trick because very often we need to know the height of objects that are so big it's inconvenient to measure them directly. But you can always find an object that you know the length of or can easily measure the length of and then compare shadows, so long as it's a sunny day. This is today's Daily Dose of Math. Please like, subscribe, and share.